All right, good morning, everyone. Thank you all for joining us today for this session titled Blockchain Explained, Real Estate and Cryptocurrency. We're going to take a deep dive into this topic today. You're going to hear a lot of interesting terms, and hopefully you'll leave with a lot more knowledge about blockchain, cryptocurrency, and everything that goes along with it. I'm going to start off by making a few announcements, though, so that I don't miss them at the end. Tomorrow, we'll be hosting our first legislative and regulatory forum. This event is unique because we'll be providing an opportunity for all of you to hear about what's happening on the federal and state, within the federal and state legislative arenas. Then we'll roll right into a regulatory update. And then the last hour will actually be an open forum to allow all of you to come with any of your comments and questions about what you think our public policy committee should be focusing on next year. If you haven't registered for this already, please go to DelawareRealtor.com. Top right, there's something that says Event Center. Go into there and you can register for that there. Give me just a moment. A few more people keep joining here. All right. I also hope you'll all taken a look at all the information we've sent out about our convention and expo coming up the first full week of October, starting on October 4th. Take a look at all the offerings we have. We put a lot of effort into this along with the convention committee that we have here. We have many different sessions. We're also being joined by our NAR leadership, as well as the advocacy team, some of the members of the advocacy team from the National Association. On October 7th, we'll be having our annual 302 event at Mapledale Country Club here in Dover. We're going to be awarding the DAR Realtor of the Year, as well as presenting the DAR RPAC Hall of Fame, among a few other things. But a highlight of that event will also include the candidates forum we'll be having between our two candidates for president-elect. Later that evening, we're going to have our president's reception. That reception will be just a fun event for all of you to network and enjoy everyone's company after the last year. This is pretty much our first big event since the start of the pandemic. The next day, the following day, October 8th, starting bright and early in the morning, we'll be having our first framing frenzy, which will actually be a two levels of a house framing frenzy that we're doing in conjunction with Habitat for Humanity. Come on down to Dover International Speedway. We'll be doing it right there in the parking lot. We do have a minimum amount of people we do need, and we're not quite there yet. So I'm hoping everyone on this call could come on out, bring a friend, bring a couple friends, and we can put together this house for this needy family very quickly. And then following the framing frenzy on October 8th, at 2:30 that afternoon, we'll be having our annual meeting. Our annual meeting will take place via Zoom for the election of our DAR officers. With that, let's get back to the topic at hand. I'm going to start out with actually a poll. I want to get a sense from everybody about their current knowledge about cryptocurrency and things like Bitcoin. So let's see if this works. Give me just a second. All right, please answer these two questions for me. All right, results are coming in. First one, do you know what blockchain is? And the second one is, have you purchased cryptocurrency in the past? I'll give it about 10 more seconds here. Oh, looks like everyone's answering. Thank you, thank you. All right. Looks like we've slowed down. I'm going to end the poll. All right, I hope you all can see that. So, pretty mixed across the board. So this should be very interesting for everyone. So with that, I'm very excited to welcome Realtor Kathleen Ryan, who is a former hardware senior engineer and is very knowledgeable on this particular topic. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't share the results for anyone to see, so I'll share that real quick. Hope you can see that. All right, let's stop that. All right, Kathleen has been in the business for the past 17 years. She's based out of Chevy Chase, Maryland. She's a top producer, has 6 NAR designations, focuses on luxury homes, but will always, of course, help those first-time home buyers. She also does primarily business for the employees of the White House, the IMF, the International Monetary Fund, as well as the World Bank. Kathleen has held this session before previously for those who have the CRS designation. You may have seen this come across, but she's very knowledgeable on this topic from personal experience and now professional experience. So we're very happy to have you here today, Kathleen. Reminder for everyone, you may post your comments and questions in the chat box below. We will try to get to those right at the end, so hopefully we can answer a lot of those if you have any questions. And again, this event is being recorded. So again, thank you, Kathleen, and take it from there.
Thank you, Wes, for inviting me to give this presentation. I'm delighted to be here with you and all the others that have joined today. It's important to really focus on knowledge in your particular areas of interest. And more people are going to be reaching out to you and asking you about cryptocurrency, blockchain, and Bitcoin, and how they might consider using some of those resources to potentially purchase real estate. So this has already happened, but today's focus is really to bring people along the technology advances in this particular area. I expect people on this call to be either very knowledgeable or not knowledgeable. But as we can see from the poll that you just did, that was a great idea, Wes. There is going to be some information that I'm hoping that all of you can use. It's going to go pretty fast. And I think in the hour that we're going to be together, I'd like to present for about 40 minutes and then answer some questions toward the end. So if you wouldn't mind, Wes, putting up that first. Thank you so very much. Wonderful. Okay, so the title of the presentation, of course, is Bitcoin Blockchain and the Impact on Real Estate in the year 2021. And I love to talk to people in different organizations. I'm going to have a presentation in Florida and another one hopefully here in my own area, the Greater Capital Association of Realtors. So you might want to know a little bit about me. As Wes already mentioned, I was a senior real estate engineer. Oh gosh, that was in the 1980s. And I really pride myself in learning a lot of information. I think that comes from having parents that were professors and teachers. Where do I get some of this information? Well, I'm involved in different forums. I listen to podcasts and YouTube. And more recently, in January of 2021, I joined something called Clubhouse, and you may or may not have been know about it. But if anybody wants to reach out, I can help you get on. I'm also active on Instagram and Facebook, and my Instagram handle is Kathleen Ryan Holmes with an S. So let's get started. Do you mind going to the next slide? Okay, here's some terms that are just gonna come out and talk about together, and I'm just gonna say them out loud because you're gonna hear them through the presentation. Bitcoin, Litecoin, and Ethereum. They are three of the most popular coins that are out there. Where did Bitcoin get its name? Well, bit, like byte, is a digital term, and coin, like the coins we use, quarters, nickels, dimes, paper money. And so it's an aggregate of those two words, Bitcoin. Smart contracts, whales. Today, Michael Saylor, he is the CEO founder of MicroStrategies, just bought another 5,000 Bitcoins. Jack Dorsey, who you might know from Square, Coinbase, Kraken. That word HODL is pronounced HODL. Cryptocurrency, the term buy the dip. Mining, everybody knows this gentleman, Elon Musk. Swan Bitcoin, SATs, BTC, NFT, and being cryptocurrency certified. Thank you so very much for going to the next slide. Okay, I'd like to kind of give a little history of what has been going on in cryptocurrency. And I'm taking you all the way through today, but Bitcoin really was conceptualized and proposed by a gentleman by the name of Nick Szabo. And then many of you who have started in real estate, like I did in the mid 2000s, we all experienced the 2006 to 2010 Great Recession. A few years into that, a gentleman who really is anonymous, it really isn't a person by the name of Satoshi Nakamoto, actually created the white paper, and a dozen or so gentlemen at that time, they were termed as cyberpunks. So the big critical important note is that no more than 21 million Bitcoins will ever be in existence. And right now, just over 19 million are in circulation. So I'm talking about digital currency, not paper money, not coins. So finally, after some period of time, Bitcoin was actually launched in 2009. 2010, a person used 10,000 Bitcoins to buy 2 pizzas. That was a transatlantic presentation. If you had held those 10,000 Bitcoins, today's value of them would be about 325 million. Well, actually, it's more like 436 million. But this presentation was given in early July. Okay. By 2011, there was parity with the US dollar. That is, 1 Bitcoin was worth $1. Today, I just checked it, the value of 1 Bitcoin is 46 or about $45,900. So Bitcoin has had its fits and spurts, and there have been several bubbles, including one in 2013, which also brought the first exchange called Coinbase. In 2014, Mt. Gox, one of the early huge exchanges, imploded, and China started banning digital currency. Banks would not take them, obviously. 2015, there was a lot of competition, and a gentleman developed a different coin called Ethereum. 2016, we had a lot of initial coin offerings. And by 2017, where I became a little bit more aware of this, and how I became aware of this is through my children, actually, there was another bubble. And by that point, there were 200 different coins. In 2018, Bitcoin dropped. And then most recently, I'm going to talk mostly about 2020 and 2021. So if you were involved in Bitcoin in 2020, and that's where I generally entered myself, each coin was about $10,000 a piece. And by 2020, it was at $28,000 per coin. Also, our US government interjected about $2 trillion of stimulus money into the US economy. And of course, all of us have experienced going to the grocery store now and seeing what our dollar buys for bread and meat and milk and everything else that we need every day. 2021, you started seeing notable individuals talking about Bitcoin, including Elon Musk, who came on Clubhouse and said his company at Tesla accepted Bitcoin. In other words, you could purchase using cash or Bitcoin to buy a Tesla. In March, when things got really exciting for people who hold Bitcoin, that includes me, it was a high of 64K. And MicroStrategy, Michael Saylor, like I mentioned, he continues to buy. In fact, it was announced today, his company just bought another 5,000 Bitcoins, and now his company holds about 100,000 Bitcoins. That's a lot of money, obviously. Elon Musk said he was discontinuing using Bitcoin, and he encourages the use of Dogecoin, his meme. Jack Dorsey, who helped found Square and is involved in Twitter, he continues to say that he's in Bitcoin. So today there's over 7,500 different coins. So there are millionaires and billionaires and trillionaires, but others are purchasing Bitcoin and putting Bitcoin and digital currency in the news. So this is all very, very important. And I just want to make mention why digital currency has captured the world. Digital currency is a little bit different. Just like Amazon at one point had no stores, but here we are purchasing everything from toilet paper and our daily groceries through Amazon. Uber, who has also disrupted the market, owns absolutely almost no cars themselves. Instead, they have drivers who are using their own cars. And Facebook creates no content. Who creates the content for them? We do by our membership and our posting of pictures. Obviously, they own YouTube and such things like that. Let's keep going. And Airbnb owns no real estate. You put up your own real estate and earn rent, I guess, for short-term rentals. And so much like that, there is Bitcoin. Bitcoin has no physical coins, nothing that you hold in your hand, nothing that you transfer from a bank. It's actually peer-to-peer transactions. So there are no physical coins. These are all digital coins. So I want to talk a little bit about the growth since this is really, really important. And the last time I gave this presentation in early July to the CRS group, 25 million people in the United States held Bitcoin. Today, I just looked it up, the number of people in the United States alone, I'm not talking about the world, around the world, there's 46 million people who are involved. So as real estate agents, as real estate professionals, as staff members, we should understand a little bit about Bitcoin because our clients, whether they're sellers or buyers or renters, are going to be talking about it. They're holding Bitcoin. By the way, you don't have to hold a single coin, meaning a whole coin, but parts of a coin. So about 500,000 people actually own more than one coin. So I just want to talk about Bitcoin to help you understand. It's not too late to get involved, and this information will help you in your business. So shall we go to the next slide? Oh, why do we need to define and familiarize with ourselves with some of these cryptocurrency terms? Well, our clients are going to be talking about it, and you definitely want to be knowledgeable in this area. And many of us who have children or people who are younger, they're talking about it. So if you are at least a little bit knowledgeable, you can carry on a conversation. And clearly some people have come to the table and saying, look, I've got fiat money, which is regular coin, physical money, and I have cryptocurrency, whether it's Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, Dogecoin, whatever all the other coins are, and I want to buy a house. I want to get into commercial real estate. And here we are to help them. So next slide. I think now it's a good time to go and dive a little bit deeper. Many of you know these terms, but for those who don't, I'm just going to say them out loud because I think it's important to read something and hear something. So let's do it together. Bitcoin is the digital currency or digital gold. That's how it's referred to by many people. And it's known for decentralization, which means we do not, I hold Bitcoin, do not use a bank. We use proof of work and blockchain. It's peer-to-peer transaction, whether it is between you and me or myself and another institution, but not a bank. It's an electronic, I'm going to put quotes around the words, electronic and cash systems. And so we use computers to record a copy of the blockchain. And the blockchain is a system of recording this information in a way that it can't be hacked, can't be changed, and it's a digital ledger of all transactions that are distributed over a network of computer systems. So these computers are able to record a copy of that blockchain. All the transactions become layered on top of each other, and all subsequent transactions are updated every time it happens. So each of these computers that are all tied to each other verify this information. And so you might have heard about mining and miners. So miners are in charge of processing the transaction on this blockchain and are motivated by being rewarded every time they successfully have a transaction. A portion of a little tiny bit of a Bitcoin, or it's called a Sat. It's short for Satoshi, the first name of the person who really is anonymous, who conceptualized Bitcoin. And each of their transaction fees are paid in parts of Bitcoin, not whole coins, but just sats that they earn every day. So The Ethereum blockchain is also very viable. It's the second most used coin, and it's designed to handle these smart contracts, recording also transactions. And so I just want to say the intent of this presentation to realtors is not to explain all of the technical aspects of cryptocurrency, but just to put together some terms so you can begin to understand what Bitcoin, computers, mining, and digital currency is all about and how it can help you in real estate. Next slide. So who's buying residential real estate? Well, everybody who is considering transacting from buying their first home to their second home, a beach home, a mountain home. And now people have the ability to use not only cash, but they have the ability to use digital currency. So people, real estate agents need to know how they can start talking to people who may have part of a Bitcoin, many Bitcoins, Ethereum, Litecoin, Dogecoin, and all of that. So the ability to secure a mortgage today is based on using current dollars or other currency. So of course, if you are living in Europe, people buy real estate there. They use the lira in maybe Italy. They use yen in Japan and all of that stuff. So once again, in the digital world, cash is referred to as fiat. So there have been early adopters since 2009, and people are working very hard right now to figure out how to buy real estate using fiat, some digital currency, or quite possibly it's already happened. People have bought houses and gone into commercial real estate using digital currency. So how can they purchase or sell property using cryptocurrency? Buyers or sellers can decide that they would like to use a realtor who has at least a basic understanding, all the way to a moderate understanding, to an advanced understanding of cryptocurrency. So buyers may have cryptocurrency in their wallets. It's a digital wallet. And sellers who may want to have digital currency to put into their digital wallet might say, we will accept an offer using Bitcoin or Ethereum or any of the other cryptocurrencies. So obviously, they're going to be looking for a real estate professional who knows how to speak this language and maybe has the resources, who have lenders who are already well-versed in cryptocurrency. There are individuals like this already. Purchases have happened in California and Washington State and Florida, all around the world already. They also need settlement attorneys, or in certain areas that we use settlement attorneys here in Maryland, DC, and Virginia. But in other states, like in New York, they use real estate attorneys who have either completed a real estate transaction or know how to complete a real estate transaction with cryptocurrency. It may be all or part of their earnest money deposit or their consideration as their down payment. Most importantly, you need a lender who understands cryptocurrency, because yes, they may have all, well, it's great if they have all, I love cash offers, and all digital currency offers, that would be great. But chances are they're using part of cryptocurrency. So they have to understand how this cryptocurrency is being held by a buyer or used by a seller in another transaction. So for instance, the seller might accept cryptocurrency, but they may use cryptocurrency themselves when they buy the next house. So the chain reaction of trying to sell a home and buy another home. There are impacts to municipalities or counties or state tax payments. And I should really clarify that I'm not giving any financial advice, and that you should seek working with real estate agents or your own financial advisor, tax professional when it comes to cryptocurrency. Next slide. All right. So how do people convert cryptocurrency? Typically, buyers or sellers are holding cryptocurrency in a wallet. That's somewhat like a wallet or a purse that we have today, but it's a digital wallet. And how do they exchange it from, that's the word, how do they transfer it from one individual to another is that they use something called an exchange. We're not here to actually explain how they may owe taxes on any capital gain. In other words, they could have bought a whole coin in 2000 and let's just say 17 for about $6,400. And now that single coin is now worth about $45,000. I would suggest that they would talk to their tax professional about how they're dealing with those capital gains. But there are, like stocks and bonds and stuff like that, there are short-term capital gains if you buy currency now and sell it within a year. So that's a topic for another discussion. But what's more important is that buyers and sellers and everybody who's involved in cryptocurrency transactions understand it has to be done in a timely manner. So that means you need to be able to take some or all of your Bitcoin or more of your Bitcoin or Ethereum or other things from your exchange, or if you're holding it off an exchange, these digital wallets. And the timing of some of these things, sorry about that, that's just our HVAC system kicking in again, has to be done in a timely fashion. Sometimes it's instantaneous, sometimes it takes 24 hours. So to understand what how wallets and exchanges work. So obviously, as you work through a transaction and you hope to get it ratified, you will have to have something called cash to close. You may need to have more Bitcoin, obviously, to complete the transaction. And who these EMD deposits go to, who might be involved in the tax portions of it. And then also, as real estate agents, there are brokerages that will pay you in digital currencies. So there is a Canadian brokerage that has been doing it for a couple of years. And each real estate agent can decide if they want to be paid in fiat, Canadian dollars, paid in digital currency, which I think is just very cool. So we obviously want to minimize risk to ourselves and to our clients, and how to minimize risk to all parties and transactions. So it's important that you figure out all of this stuff probably before you do your first transaction. I personally have not done a cryptocurrency transaction. I'm hoping to do one very soon. I have actually talked to a couple of people who have referred out to other brokerages because the transaction wasn't happening here in DC, Maryland, or Virginia. I hope to have one soon though. And I transferred that buyer to somebody who is working with them in Washington State and another buyer who's working with them in California. Next slide. So how is the blockchain different than smart contracts? Well, smart contracts actually work by recording the actual transaction on a smart contract platform. You can record the transactions on a smart contract by actually having all of the data, which is like our ratified contracts, a home inspection, your actual deposit and your earnest money deposit, any signed addendums, anything involved with the transaction to transfer from seller to buyer. So you can conceive a ratified contract to be recorded digitally, and then it becomes potentially a smart contract. Any conversation that you record in an addendum, any conversation that goes between parties and agreements, dates, all that stuff can be recorded on a smart contract. So next slide. So there is proof already of successful digital currency transactions already happened by finding other real estate agents who have completed cryptocurrency transactions. How do you find out about it? Well, the news of successful transactions have already happened. I found the sources by Googling a lot and reviewing, for instance, Inman News. And there have been international real estate agents who successfully completed transactions in other countries. So just to give you an idea of what's been going on, obviously, the news has been, there's actually a brother and sister team who's been mining Ethereum and they are already earning every month about $32,000. I mean, we're talking about 14-year-olds and 9-year-olds. Um, uh, there is an agent who I'm happy to share her name, who has a cryptocurrency realty in California, and she's already done 5 and working on her 6th. And you think that's a small number, but each of them are very unique. There's folks in Florida who've been working successfully. In fact, the mayor of Miami wants his city to be the cryptocurrency city of the United States. Another thing that was in the news recently is El Salvador has been involved in cryptocurrency. There is a company called Proppy, and the owner of it, I can only remember her name. I can't remember his name right now. Her name is Natalia Karayava Neva, and she's very, very involved. She's out of now Miami. She moved from the West Coast to Miami recently, and she has done blockchain transfers. She actually did a successful purchase of real estate for representing the transaction, not necessarily the buyer or the seller, for a property in the Ukraine. It was on for about 350,000 and it successfully sold for over 500,000. So she sold about $2 billion in transactions now in cryptocurrency related transactions. So I think that's very cool. People are doing it. So next slide, please. So how can we as real estate professionals learn more about cryptocurrency? And I've only been really in this space for a year, but I've done a deep dive more so to be able to discuss this with my youngest child, who turns 24 today. Actually, it's his birthday. And it's really cool to find where the resources are. And so I suggest that you go to the Bitcoin white paper. Again, Satoshi Nakamoto, an anonymous person or entity, could have been a group of men probably, put together a very short, it's only like 13 pages. You can Google it and find it. You can read a very good book called The Bitcoin Standard, and you can Google in Amazon all of the books and go into their ratings and find a few books. And then now I've finally seen some of these books in the library, so that's really great. Go to your local library and borrow them. I suggest that you to do even a shallow dive and more so in the future do a deep dive by actually buying cryptocurrency yourself. You can pick any one of them. I particularly like Bitcoin. It's the mother of all cryptocurrency. And review different wallets, and then try to take some cryptocurrency off one of these exchanges and put them into your wallet. You can enjoy by joining investment groups that have cryptocurrency emphasis. There's one here in our particular area that meets regularly once a month in Washington, D.C., and there's another one in Baltimore. So depending on where you are in the United States or around the world, I'm sure there's one in Delaware. Join them. You can join them virtually, obviously, on something like Zoom. I'd like to point out that Andres Antonopoulos, who is a Bitcoin and blockchain technology expert, has excellent YouTube videos. Just Google his name, go to YouTube and watch them. I decided that I wanted to understand cryptocurrency, so this is all on YouTube. You don't even have to pay for a class. I watched the segments hosted by the MIT cryptocurrency free classes. And here's something interesting. The gentleman who was conducting those classes is actually Gary Gensler, who was a professor there, but today, and he was a professor at the Sloan School of Management, he is the chair of the SEC, the Securities and Exchange Commission. So he's very knowledgeable and really involved. and now he's in the government. Obviously, the things that are going on is talks about regulation, who can do what on exchanges, and how different groups are getting involved. You know, big banks are getting involved. Wealth management has set aside some cryptocurrency, and more people are adopting it. So you might want to join Clubhouse. And again, I've been on it since January, still in kind of beta mode. But if you want to reach out, I can talk to you about cryptocurrency, Clubhouse, anything you want to ask. I would caution you and say, do not reveal how much cryptocurrency you have. I don't care if you have 0.0001 of a cryptocurrency, whether you have 60,000 sats or you're sitting in your wallets with 10 Bitcoins. We don't trust each other with our wallet keys. We don't we don't share our passwords, and you do have to be careful. There are scams out there. Oh, just send me some fiat, I'll help you buy some Bitcoin. Well, you send the fiat, you're not going to necessarily get it back. So you have to figure out who you can trust in this emerging world. So if anybody wants to reach out, I can tell you about some of the real estate firms or groups that have successfully completed those transactions using cryptocurrency. Obviously, I already mentioned in Canada and New York and California and Florida now, Washington State, it's happened. More and more realtors are going to be involved in real estate with cryptocurrency. I'm just about to finish my own cryptocurrency accreditation. I can tell you how to get that. There is a cryptocurrency coursework that's offered by Proppy. I think it costs like $500, but every once in a while they offer it to real estate agents for about $250. Proppy is also involved with the cryptocurrency realty group that's out of California. And it just, every day they post on Instagram just really gems about digital currency. So I just want to remind you, early adopters are just in it early. When people talked about the information superhighway in the 1980s, and I'm talking about, you know, Al Gore, today we're using the internet every single day. We're Googling every single day. So it's very, very interesting to be in this space. You are not late. You do not need a whole amount of cryptocurrency right now. It is very clear to me that it's important for all of us to get involved. And so let's talk about that in the next slide. Okay, so as I already mentioned, Proppy has a cryptocurrency course. The first NFT real estate purchase has already happened. I mentioned that already. You might have seen it in the news, NFTs, which stands for non-fungible tokens. There was an art sale. It was a $69 million digital art piece. Guess what? That guy had all of it in cryptocurrency, all of it in Bitcoin. And as you already know, the United States is getting more and more involved with regulation. El Salvador went full tilt earlier this week. And in fact, Japan had a lot of Bitcoin machines sitting around in 2013. I'm seeing Bitcoin. I saw it at my grocery store, actually. Every year in Florida, in Miami, they have conferences. They actually had the Bitcoin conference this year. Everybody wore a mask, and be on alert that there will be another Bitcoin conference in 2022. And I guess the first one may have had 50, you know, over the years, they may have had 500 or 1,000 people. This past year, they had 12,000 people involved, if I remember the number correctly. And then this is kind of a reminder again, because it's really important. Invest only the amount that you're willing to lose. I do not want to convey that this is a financial recommendation. Please, you know, discuss this with your spouse and your family members and see a financial advisor. So it's all very, very important. You're still an early adopter. Again, you do not have to buy a single Bitcoin. Reach out to me. I can show you how to do it. And that's what we're going to talk about in the next slide. So how to learn more about cryptocurrency? Well, to buy cryptocurrency, these are some of my favorite. These are some of that I'm involved in. I've learned more why I wanted to get on some of these exchanges. Coinbase is the best and well known. It's the one that most people are on. They do give you free portions of Bitcoin. You actually go through tutorials, and they actually, you earn some cryptocurrency. You can transfer them into Bitcoin or any other digital currency that you want. There's platforms on there. Gemini is hosted by the Winklevoss twins. They started that company. The Winklevosses were the folks that Mark Zuckerberg were sort of involved at Harvard. And they said they invented Facebook. He said he invented Facebook. Binance, Swan. I love Swan because it has a lot of digital coursework on there. You just work through each of the modules. And then there's Kraken, which is very easy. Some of these exchanges have, obviously, to buy, how they earn their money is they take a little bit of your fiat as fees and transfers back into fiat. They take another fee, of course. So that's how they earn their worth. Here's a way to get some free Bitcoin. You can get $5 of Bitcoin. I think I put 10 there, but it's $5 of Bitcoin on Coinbase when every new subscriber buys or sells at least $100 worth of crypto. And there happens to be my link. So if you want to copy that, that would be great. And then if you have any questions, you can reach out to me, and I can get you on this exchange in about 5 minutes. Lolly has been around. It has a Lolly extension, which you can use for everyday purchases and receive or earn free sats every day. There happens to be my code. Every day I use Lolly. Every day I use Fold. Fold lets you earn 7 days a week free sats. That particularly is my account. Can get you on that. It's like a little spinning wheel. You could potentially earn 1 million sats in one of the spins, but obviously that doesn't happen too often. And then I'm just going to give you all of these reminders. Where there's risk, there's opportunity. So if you were in Tesla early, bought a lot of Tesla stock, you'd be sitting and maybe retired by now. If you bought Amazon early and held on to some of that Amazon stock, you too could be buying maybe your third or fourth house. And people who recognized Facebook was here to stay, and it's ubiquitous, of course. When it went public, you'd be sitting on a lot of value as well. Purchasers and sellers who are involved and later use cryptocurrency need to affirm that these funds are in hand and available in time for closing. So you have to be very, very knowledgeable about this to encourage your buyers and sellers, or yourself, if you're using cryptocurrency, to sell or purchase cryptocurrency. And therefore, the fourth and most important reminder is that cryptocurrency pricing, and therefore your funds, is extremely volatile. So keep your digital keys under wrap, keep your passwords safe. And let's see, how are we doing for time, Wes? Oh, pretty good. That's just I have to put that up as a disclaimer. Thank you so very much. So now, if you have bought cryptocurrency through me or through my exchange, through my involvement on the exchanges, just because I can give you that quick link, I just want to say, by buying any Bitcoin or any cryptocurrency, we say you have been orange pilled. So I hope most of you will consider doing it and be pilled by me. Thank you.
Thank you, Kathleen. Give me 1 second. Thank you so much for all that information. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, great. So we do have quite a few questions in the chat box. I think it's a good point that you ended on that list there, is that this is very volatile. Keep that in mind. And I'm sure many of you are probably still lost. I bought my first Bitcoin back in 2013 and I'm still lost, but I've started understanding over the years. What's that?
Did you hold your Bitcoin?
I did not hold it, so don't worry, I'm not a millionaire sitting here. I sold it, unfortunately, at a low.
I forgot to describe that term, hodling, which means hold on for dear life. Okay.
Yep. So here's some good questions. I'll kind of start at the beginning, so it goes throughout the presentation. This is interesting. This is actually why I had gotten involved in the start of it. How are miners appointed? I think this is an interesting question because it's not exactly what you think with that question. Go ahead, Kathleen.
So miners and mining. So miners are people who have probably a gaming computer. In other words, it has to be able to do these transactions very, very quickly. It's probably a pretty expensive computer. You're not really doing it on your laptop, although you could, it would just be slower. But they're using gaming equipment and they're getting on their same links. So many, many computers are linked together. Whether you hold a single computer, whether you hold 50 miners, or you actually link your mining equipment to other miners' equipment. You can actually not even have any equipment and buy into groups of people who will buy the equipment. I hope that answers that question.
And I think what I've learned throughout the years is there's now many companies out there that purchase these computers that are just made for mining Bitcoin. So there's major organizations that are doing that type of work.
And you've seen in the news that China has banned mining, and actually a lot of mining has moved to other countries, including people who are heavily involved and want to grow mining in Dallas, Texas and Miami.
So a realtor has asked, I do not wish to receive cryptocurrency for my commission. How will that be converted?
Oh, well, if you were to get it and you held it for a while and hoped that it would go higher, that's the way to do it. But you always have a choice of receiving your commission in fiat, regular dollars, no problem.
So is cryptocurrency considered legal tender?
It is in the United States. It is in El Salvador. People are using digital currency. They are using it between themselves. So Wes, I could say, hey, I'd like to send you a little bit of Bitcoin. I could either send it directly to your wallet or I could send it through an exchange. It is very possible. You're using digital currency for services and goods. So if you said to me, hey, I'm going to pay you in digital currency and I accept digital currency, of course, that's how it becomes legal to do that.
Yeah, I believe if I remember correctly, I believe the IRS is going to put a question right at the start of the tax return that says, have you purchased cryptocurrency in the last year? I believe they're adding that for next year.
They are.
So it's really getting in there. Does the value of a country's currency
over $10,000. So if you are purchasing huge amounts of sats toward a Bitcoin, they will automatically know if you bought $10,000 worth of digital currency at once.
Does the value of a country's currency determine how much coin they can buy? Generally, is there a basic value that Bitcoin uses for purchase?
So although we hold a dollar in our hand, we look at our dollar to decide how much we can exchange it for. So for example, if you go to fill gas in your car right now, and it says around here, it says $2.99 per gallon. Today, my exchange is the dollar or the credit card that I use to get a gallon worth of gas at $2.99. Next week, when I've emptied my tank, well, maybe not next week, 2 weeks from now, when I empty my tank, the amount of gas I might get might be a little less because now the total amount of gas is $3.19 per gallon. So that's very similar in cryptocurrency too. It's the value at the time of your need or when you want to declare how much cryptocurrency you have. So that's something that's a good point, because if you're using cryptocurrency to buy a piece of real estate, whether it's residential or commercial, that's the part that a real estate professional, a real estate attorney or settlement company, and your loan officer has to be aware of, because it is volatile. So that's why you need professionals.
Yeah, I think, we don't see this often, obviously, right now, and maybe it's even rare in Delaware especially, but I think over time, probably in the next decade, it's going to blow up unless the government does any regulatory changes that for some reason this couldn't operate in the United States. I'm sure we'll have real estate transactions occurring here. I'm sure it happens in many other populous cities right now. But it's just a matter of time. So it's good that we're having this so that everyone can learn just some of the basics about what it is. What is the difference between the exchange and the wallet? And does the exchange set up the wallet? And just to note, we have 7 more minutes. So if anybody has any questions, please feel free to put them in the chat.
So there are some exchanges that you can create a digital wallet from. There are some physical, I know this sounds a little weird, but it's a physical digital piece of digital, I can't think of the term right now, a physical thing that you take your cryptocurrency, encrypt it, and put it into your own digital wallet. You actually hold it. So don't lose it. There are others that you use this, I can't think of the term, sorry. I don't know why, but I can't think of it right now. That you will record the passwords. So again, I didn't want to get into all of the nitty gritty details for real estate agents. And then you will hold your digital currency elsewhere off the exchange, because the exchange is actually a company and the wallet is something you personally own.
All righty. So I have a lot of questions here asking for your contact information. I had it on the last slide there, but just so everyone knows, I will send out the PowerPoint or the presentation, as well as Kathleen's contact information following this presentation. We'll upload the whole recording as well, so you can go back and look at it. Here's another question though. Did El Salvador pay for their Bitcoin with the value of their currency?
So El Salvador adopted the use and acceptance of Bitcoin. It's really in its infancy. It did take some of its own fiat, meaning its own paper and coin money, set it aside about 250 million, and then they bought Bitcoin and other digital currency upfront. What was Bitcoin actually? Yes. So yes, they did that. Trying to keep going.
I think that's an important question right there, because Bitcoin, remember, a lot of times you hear this whole idea referred to as Bitcoin, but Bitcoin is just one type of digital currency. You're going to probably see in the next few weeks, because it's probably going to be a huge deal, Facebook is developing their own Bitcoin, their own cryptocurrency. I believe it's called Diem, D-I-E-M.
They tried very hard several years ago to use something called Libra, and it didn't quite catch on. So now they've like rejiggered it, and you're right, that's the title of it.
A lot of these other questions are very particular, so I'm going to hold off just due to time. So I'm going to end it there. So thank you, Kathleen. Appreciate your time today. This is a lot of information, and I'm sure it's going to take a lot of research to really dive in there and get a better grasp exactly what cryptocurrency is, what blockchain is, because it's going to be a big deal in the next few years and maybe forever. So again, thank you, Kathleen. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Wes. And please do reach out. I'm happy to take any phone calls, emails, texts, and help you become more knowledgeable and field any questions you might have. So I hope to see you again. And I'll visit Delaware. I was just there this summer once more.
Well, thank you. Just so everyone is aware, our next hot topic session is actually going to be in November. We're skipping October due to our convention. The next session is going to be an appraiser valuation roundtable. We're going to have a few appraisers that are going to discuss some of the hot topics currently in the appraisal and valuation world. So please come and tune into that. It'll be on Zoom, November 8th at 10 o'clock. Mark your calendar. And that is everything. So thank you all again. And I appreciate you all joining us. And again, thank you, Kathleen. I appreciate it.
You're very welcome. Take care.
Bye-bye.